So this is the Screen Future panel where we're going to talk about the future, but also the future of TV and games and comics and sort of anything that you guys want to talk about. How I like to do these things. By the way, I love being the moderator of this.
I can already tell.
Isn't it? Yeah, exactly. I just can't believe that I actually have these three gentlemen who I'll introduce in a second actually on stage to talk about this and to get their perspective, because I think it's an incredible opportunity to do this. Please come in. We're going to be talking about the future. A little bit of housekeeping. So Cory tells me I'm supposed to introduce myself as Intel's chief futurist.
That's right.
So I'm Intel's futurist. One of the things that we're here for, aside from talking about this notion of Screen Future, which is this sort of book that I wrote last year that actually just went to paperback this year, is we're here launching the Tomorrow Project. It's this anthology of science fiction and science fact, and we're giving it away. So you can get it directly after this panel. This is Joe. Joe's magic as well. No, probably not as magic as Tony, but Joe is going to be giving these. We're going to give these away up at the Intel booth, and Cory and I are going to go and sign them right after this. So please go up there, and also you get to choose. Actually, Joe tells me between. It's sort of like I feel like Oprah. Between this book
and a car.
This book. I don't work for the Sci-Fi Channel. I'm not a big television executive.
You get a microprocessor. You get a microprocessor.
And this shirt. Yeah, Joe came up with the design of this shirt. Joe and the designers, and I just saw it. I'm like, Joe, that's freaking awesome. So you get to pick one basically, or you could maybe try to sweet talk Joe. He might give you two. All right, so that's that. So I'm seated on stage with some pretty amazing gentlemen. I'm going to start down at the end. Who's a comic book fan here? Okay, so I don't have to tell you who Jim Shooter is then. Here, I'll tell you a story though, right? So Jim is certainly a legend in comic books. But Jim was telling me a story as he showed up this morning, and as you can tell, Jim's a little guy, right? He's hard to spot him in a crowd. He's tiny, he's wee. He's walking, he gets out of his cab and he's walking up, and you know, as you come in, there's those guys on the bullhorns going, tickets this way, tickets this way, tickets this way. And Jim comes walking down, the guy goes, tickets this way, good morning, Jim Shooter, tickets this way, tickets this way. So even the guy on the bullhorn knows who Jim Shooter is. Next to Jim, of course, we have Cory Doctorow. Say hi to Cory.
Hi, Cory.
There we go.
Hi, Cory.
Blogger, activist, science fiction author, all-around awesome guy. And then we have Craig Engler, who I'm a huge fan of. Craig is the voice of the Sci-Fi Channel on Twitter. So if you don't follow him, please do, because you're on like all the time.
It's a sickness.
And aside from being the voice of sci-fi, he's also an executive at the Sci-Fi Channel, but he's actually really participating in this stuff and is actually a passionate advocate and has this great balance between sort of the reality of the TV business, of what it actually takes to get stuff out there for the Sci-Fi Channel, but then also you're actually into it and you're kind of a geek and you love science fiction.
Yes, Cory and I met at a science fiction convention like
right.
15 odd years ago.
Yeah, I was lugging around my 500 megabyte hard drive, and which was it was the size of a bus, and Craig gave me a sticker for it that was about that big, and it only covered a tiny corner of it, as I recall.
Yeah.
So we're gonna keep, like I said, we're gonna keep this loose. We're gonna talk for just about a half an hour, and then we'll just take questions because I think that's more interesting, actually, giving you guys access to these gentlemen. But I want to start off, and Craig, I'll start with you. In your areas of expertise, which span all these different areas of TV and movies and games and comic books, so where do you see things going? What have you been seeing now around the world and online? Where do you see things going in the next 5 years?
We have a half hour for that one question.
You're like 5 minutes.
I know. I'm like, oh my god. Well, there's really two different types of things, right? You're talking about content and distribution. And distribution is clearly becoming widespread. There's a term we use in the TV business called TV everywhere, which is hopefully someday you'll be able to, relatively soon. If you're familiar with HBO Go, if you're an HBO subscriber, you can go onto their iPad app, authenticate as a subscriber, and get all of their content. You can actually get more of their content on an iPad than you can for like VOD and stuff like that. And that's clearly one of the big features of TV is that we like to call TV everywhere, which relies on something called authentication, which just means if you can prove that you actually are paying for HBO, then you can go get it. Otherwise, it's very tough for them to just give it away to everyone for free. So distribution is TV everywhere, but then there's this whole other movement with content. TV content is still massively popular. It's only become more massively popular with new technology. You know, one of the things that people like to tell me is they're like, well, TV is dead, look at Hulu. And I'm like, well, Hulu actually streams TV, so that's not dead. You know, that's more, that's good.
Hulu actually is TV.
Yeah, Hulu is TV, right? And we help create TV, or create Hulu, sorry. We also do create TV, but not the whole thing. And then, so there's this distribution, but then there's also content. So everyone's getting into different types of content. You're seeing a lot of webisode stuff, a lot of shorter stuff, a lot of stuff that time doesn't matter. You know, one of the things on linear TV, which you watch in a stream, is it has to come in exact increments. You know, TV shows have to be an hour long, but they're really 44 minutes because you got to jam 16 minutes of commercials in there. You can't really, you can maybe go to 45 or 43. If you run off the clock, you know, once in a while, you can do like 48 or, you know, an hour and a half. But online, it really doesn't matter. So we have creators that come to us and they're like, how long should it be? And I'm like, well, how long should it be? Like, if it should be 3 minutes, it should be 3 minutes. And if it should be 30, it should be 30. So basically, you're seeing changes in content, and then changes in distribution.
Cory?
So, I agree that TV is popular, but I don't think that popularity is in itself, it is necessary but not sufficient to sustain a business or an industry. And, you know, with all respect to Craig, who I admire, like, and respect immensely, I hear TV is popular a lot from TV people, and it's sometimes followed with, and our advertising CPM, which is what you get for every 1,000 people who are watching cost per mil, is very high relative to the internet. And therefore, TV is popular and also will sustain itself. And for me, I think if you have an advertising-driven medium, which is not HBO subscription, but is much of television, anything that's in 48-minute and not 60-minute increments, because if you've got 48 minutes, the other 12 are for adverts, anything like that not only has to command a high CPM, it has to command a high CPM that's high enough to pay for the stuff. So imagine, for example, that I decided to go out and get a bunch of people who are very good at negotiation to get the exclusive right to put ads in every high roller room in every casino in Vegas, right? I could make a lot of money off of those ads. The question that's important isn't, can I make a lot of money off those ads? The question is, can I make more money off of those ads than it cost me to get the exclusive right to put the ads in the high roller rooms? And that's the bit I'm not sure about with TV, because although people like watching TV, they also like watching other stuff. And advertisers don't care about TV, advertisers care about selling things. And so while they might acknowledge, oh, well, we can sell more toothpaste on an episode of The Walking Dead than we can sell on a 3-minute video on YouTube with a little text ad underneath, the question is, for every $1 we put into 3-minute ads on YouTube, do we sell more toothpaste than we do for every $1 we put into The Walking Dead? And my feeling is that a couple of things are driving up the returns on advertising on the internet. The first one is that advertisers, for better or for worse, and there's a lot of creepiness here, are getting better at figuring out who to show what ads to. And then the other one is that we're discovering a whole lot of people who have something interesting to say and who are pretty good at figuring out how to say it and who are willing to make short videos to do it and who are putting them either on YouTube with no expectation of getting money or through one of YouTube's content deals or through some other platform where either they do or don't expect to get money. And while all of the things that make TV great are missing from those videos, and I'll stipulate freely that like the quality of writing, the quality of the production, the quality in many ways is lower than it is in TV in almost all of those videos. They have other qualities that make them very valuable, right? The video that you watch because it features people who are like you or whom you know doing something entertaining on YouTube, which is a canonical one, you know, your friends going out and getting drunk and singing karaoke or something. That has a whole bunch of virtues that are absolutely missing from anything produced at NBC, because NBC doesn't have access to your friends singing karaoke last night. Only your friends do. And so I think that if TV is going to sustain itself, which it may or may not happen, it is insufficient for TV to say we are popular and our advertising rates are higher than the internet's.